Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. Where love reigns, there is no will to power, and where the will to power is paramount, love is lacking. The one is but the shadow of the other. The man who promises everything is sure to fulfill nothing, and everyone who promises too much is in danger of using evil means in order to carry out his promises, and is already on the road to perdition. In all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order. Often the hands know how to solve a riddle with which the intellect has wrestled in vain. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol or morphine or idealism. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the object it loves. Nobody, as long as he moves about among the chaotic currents of life, is without trouble. There is no birth of consciousness without pain. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Knowledge rests not upon truth alone, but upon error also. Mistakes are, after all, the foundations of truth, and if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least an increase in knowledge if he knows what it is not. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own souls. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. The debt we owe to the play of imagination is incalculable. Sometimes, indeed, there is such a discrepancy between the genius and his human qualities that one has to ask oneself whether a little less talent might not have been better. Recognition of the reality of evil necessarily relativizes the good, and the evil likewise, converting both into halves of a paradoxical whole. Emotion is the chief source of consciousness. There is no change from darkness to light, or from inertia to movement, without emotion. It all depends on how we look at things, and not on how they are in themselves. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. The word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. The greatest and most important problems of life are fundamentally insoluble. They must be so, for they express the necessary polarity inherent in every self-regulating system. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. Great gifts are the fairest, and often the most dangerous fruits on the tree of humanity. They hang on the weakest branches, which easily break. Man needs difficulties. They are necessary for health. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. Where pride is insistent enough, memory prefers to give way. It is a fact that cannot be denied. The wickedness of others becomes our own wickedness, because it kindles something evil in our own hearts. If there is anything that we wish to change in our children, we should first examine it and see whether it is not something that could better be changed in ourselves. If one does not understand a person, one tends to regard him as a fool. You can take away a man's gods, but only to give him others in return. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. I had always been impressed by the fact that there are surprisingly many individuals who never use their minds if they can avoid it, and yet are not stupid, and an equal number who obviously do use their minds, but in an amazingly stupid way. A special ability means a heavy expenditure of energy in a particular direction, with a consequent drain from some other side of life. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Anyone who wants to know the human psyche will learn next to nothing from experimental psychology. He would be better advised to put away his scholar's gown, bid farewell to his study, and wander with human heart through the world. Without freedom, there can be no morality. As any change must begin somewhere, it is the single individual who will undergo it and carry it through. The change must begin with one individual. It might be any one of us. Nobody can afford to look around and to wait for somebody else to do what he is loath to do himself. Resistance to the organized mass can be effected only by the man who is as well organized in his individuality as the mass itself. Show me a sane man and I will cure him for you. Thank you for watching.